Hey everybody, Vicky here from Tales from the Trails, and this is the walkthrough of Enter Persued by a Memory, the second quest in Red Dead Redemption 2 story. We do end up with the task of going to find John, who has gone missing out in the storm, which we saw in the first quest, or mission. Our Arthur doesn't really want to do it, but we do end up doing it anyway with the help of Javier. We are assured that we are like some of the fittest men the camp currently has, because everybody is pretty rough at the minute, especially with the weather and lack of supplies and the past, what we are just finding out about. So we do head out. We're going to try and find John up past the river with Javier. We are horseback. We don't do anything at this point as in controlling our horses. It's more of a learning experience, like think what we can do, and the game takes us through that. A little bit more on the story is we are looking for John, we find an abandoned camp, and it is probably John's. There's no proof really, but it is in a certain direction apparently, and we head that way. And what we can do here is inspect this camp, which gives us more information. It just says abandoned camp, and then we continue our little journey, which we do have control of the horse at this point. And we're following Javier. The game does at this point also tell us about the horse's health. We've already been told about our character's health. It tells about the horse as well, so we've got to look after our horse just as much as we do our character. In addition to the health, we also have the horse's stamina, which means how long it can run for. When your horse's stamina is empty, the horse will not be able to gallop. So it slows down. We are continuing our journey, and we are informed that there's a big gap down here, a crevasse, I guess. And it is a very long way down. I like how the wind howls down it as well. And there are hoof prints, which we are following through the snow, which is a nice touch. Easier to find, I guess. We're going to continue on this trail. We are learning a little bit about what has happened. Something happened in Blackwater on a boat. The gang was meant to meet up, but it didn't quite form. And we are taught about the cinematic camera. And also, if you hold the X button or whatever it is on your PC or controller, it will tell you what button you need to press. Your horse will follow the road, you don't need to control it, which is really useful to have, very useful to have. And you can actually change the view by pressing, in this case, the R2 button, but again, your game may be different depending on what you're playing it on. And it will tell you. A different view, essentially. A very nice way to play pretty parts of the game. You don't always have to be in control of your horse, you can just let the game run it for you. It's a lot easier. No falling off cliffs that way. I am speeding this bit up because, it's just information, we can't really do much. You can exit the cinematic camera as well by pressing the same button as what you used to actually enter it. And we discover a downed horse. If you look at the saddle, it does say JM, which is John Marston. So that is John's horse, which isn't good. But you do hear him shouting in the distance. So what we're going to do, we're going to get back on the horses and try and follow where the shouting is coming from. We do realise a bit further up that the horses can't go this far up, so we go get weapons off our horses and we continue on foot down the cliff. We are following the shouts and cries of John. And we're just going to make our way very carefully without falling. If you go too quick, you might stumble and fall off the cliff. We're just going to walk our way to where we need to be. The game does at this point inform us about stamina for the person, our character, how it can be increased and how it affects us. We crouch down here to get under the cliff, which is another new feature, what we've not learned yet. And stamina cores and how to climb. These early missions, the game does teach us a lot on just how to play the game and what controls are important. We're going to carry on heading over. We're going to slip through this little ginnel? I don't know what you call that, to be fair. So we're going to call out for John. He is nearby. He's down this way somewhere. Let's just find him. He's down there. Okay, let's watch this.
That's quite a scratch you got there. Never thought I'd say this, but it's good to see you, Arthur Morgan. You don't look so good. I don't feel too good neither. I'm freezing. Don't down just yet, cowboy.
So now we have found our John, we are going to travel up and get him back to camp where he can get fixed up by members of the group. Bit of food. I mean, 2 days out on a rocky outcrop, quite frankly. And the wolves haven't, you know, gone away. They are still prowling around. Food is scarce for them. Scarce? Scarce for them, even. So our job here is to get rid of the wolves. Or keep them off John and Javier. We do have the sort of shotgunny thing. I'm not quite sure which one it is. But what the game teaches us is to lock onto an animal and to interact with them as well. We can call the animals to get their attention. So it focuses on us essentially and not the other characters. And what we're doing here is attempting to unalive the wolves so they don't bother us. Gonna make our way back to the horses. There's 3 wolves there. John is on the horse, Javier is on his horse. And we're gonna try and head back to the others back at camp. Speed this up a little bit. And there's a funny laugh and a joke about a guy who got bit by a dog. Trying to make it a bit light-hearted with John. And more wolves coming down the hill. We're trying to get rid of them, essentially. Keep going. My shooting with a shotgun is awful, it really is. That's 3, and this is the 4th one. There we go. There we go. So I think that is pretty much it for what we need to do. Keep checking on John. We're going to head down the hill. So yeah, what have we learned so far from this mission at least? We've learned how to mount our horse to inspect things, learned about the horse's health and stamina. We've learned about the camera views and perspectives, including cinematic and the different views within that. And the auto ride where, you know, the game controls your horse while in cinematic view essentially. There are clues to follow and how to do that. We learn about the character's stamina, how to crouch and climb up, how to lock onto targets and how to gain the attention of targets as well. So we're heading back to camp, very, very close. John gets taken off the horse, taken into the building. And yeah, so I do hope you do find this video useful. We are going to continue doing the series on the walkthrough of the quests in the game. And yeah, so see you next time, all the best, and happy trails out there.